everybody, welcome back to Loy's Comics and Collectibles, and this week we are going to be checking out the Warhammer 40k Sister Battle figure, I believe by Todd McFarlane, which, if you're not in the know, new collecting, usually Todd McFarlane figures are hyper detailed, and started out with the comic book series Spawn, and I think they sort of still do that, but got away from it, and they were really well known for taking other licensing. I know they did some really good sports figures. So, if you really like detail, McFarlane's usually a good name to go for. And I'll show you on the back, 40k Sister Battle. Those gray ones are actually action figures, and I don't know if they're pre-primed, but you can get them. And much like the hobby, the tabletop game, you can paint them. So if you wanted to do a particular Sister Battle or order, I think Sisters of Battle or orders, you could. I also know there's some others. There might be another series. I really need to dive into this more because this has got the Primaris Marine, the Hellblaster, and I've seen a Necron out and about in the wild. So I think there's a couple runs of this. And as a 40k fan, these are must have. And I think I picked this up at a Target for like $14 in clearance. So if you don't know anything about 40k, just a quick version because the lore's massive is. Humanity is kind of expanded out into the universe after technology kind of went bad with like AI and robots and that almost wiped out all of humanity. So think kind of dystopian Mad Max, sort of. But humanity has enough technology that they've expanded out into billions of planets in the universe. And it's the best way I can characterize the franchise is that it is one of those things where like even the good guys are not necessarily like squeaky clean people. Humanity and people are trying to survive against the warp, which is like another dimension that is. It's another dimension, but it's kind of hell basically. So humanity's trying to go on and live and survive, but it's expanded out so far. It's kind of hard for them to really manage things. But it is a setting where even your good guys aren't necessarily squeaky clean good guys. They're less bad guys in some cases. So it's a really interesting universe if you're into that kind of stuff. I would recommend it, but I am a huge fan. So let's pop her out of this mess. And I'll try to remember to cut the volume down so I don't blow people's ears out with the plastic this time. But I'm not entirely sure how you get her open, to be honest. I should have probably pre-cut this. Let me grab my old trusty hobby knife and take half a second here to look. We'll go through the bottom. That sounds like that'll work. Grab my hobby knife and pre-cut the tape. And I'll put it back on camera. There we go. Pre-cut the tape. Pop out the bottom. So here we go, guys. Let's pop her out the rest of the way and check her out the figure cam. Alright, everybody, we finally got her out of the package, and I'm so glad I didn't keep that in because the clamshell had to hold her real tough. But this here is pretty much your standard Sister Battle. You got her in her Godwin pattern power armor, which probably anybody that's seen anything to do with 40k, you see the big guys, the big armor, those are Space Marines. And these ladies are basically your female equivalent of Space Marines. There's stuff in the lore that basically says that the gene seed they use to make Space Marines is only compatible with males. So you have these warrior nuns that are super devout to the Emperor of Mankind that are basically your female equivalents of Space Marines. And her armor is called Godwin pattern power armor. So you got pretty common with Sisters Battle, the Fleur de Lis. And this is supposed to be the Inquisition logo because there is a think of it as they're like the Imperial secret police, and they police the galaxy looking for demons and heretics and terrorists and things like that. She's got her other Inquisition symbol. It's usually an eye with a skull. One thing when you get into 40k is their aesthetic is usually skull on top of skull with skull, and another fleur de lis here. I don't know as much about Sisters of Battle, so like that fleur de lis might actually be something called something different because it's a necklace, but she got her pipes for her backpack, and this is basically what powers the whole suit. And you got the fleur-de-lis back there. So, like I said, and you just look like all the little it's showing there. Sorry guys, the way the lights are can't, but you can see the detail in there, the vents on the bottom here, the spiky bits, all the little bits of detail in here. So McFarlane knocking it out of the park. Here's her helmet. I always thought they had interesting looking helmets. The white visor with the black shell. Generally, their ladies look like medium length hair. They're usually like white or blonde. You can look up pictures on there, and if I remember one edit, and I'll throw one in here. Got the fleur-de-lis on her chest armor and all the little detail there. Her robe bits that come down her arms, and then you got her gauntlets on her hands. On the waist, we got several painted packs, 2 grenades. One's probably a crack grenade, and maybe one's a melter bomb. I'm not sure, because there's different grenades in 40K. Crack grenade, I think, is, if I remember correctly, is just your basic hand grenade. The melter grenade is like an anti-tank bomb. So that might be the melter grenade. But I like how they took the time to mold the pouches in different colors. You got another Inquisition logo here in gold. I did notice, minor gripe, the one on the back's not gold. And I don't know enough to know if that's normal or if that's just a cost-cutting thing, because no action figure usually is perfect, because I think usually the fleur-de-lis on the chest are gold, but it might depend, because I don't know my my orders super well, so I could be wrong on that, but I've seen pictures where the fleur-de-lis were gold on the chest. And she's got the cable that goes around the side there, the skirt, which is really nicely textured. If it's not coming through on camera, it's like leather. It looks like it might have some logos on it down here, stamped into it. The knee pads with the skulls, like I said, big 40K Skedaticus skulls on top of skulls with skulls. Even the good guys, which is weird because one of the bad guys' motto is blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. But everything in 40K has skulls. Posability surprisingly good, and this sort of goes back to what I talked about with the Gundam Universe figures. Usually when you've got metric crap tons of armor, you're going to lose some posability. But first thing I looked at was like, well, her head's probably not going to do that much, but you can go the full 360. She can look down about yay far, up about that far. So that's a lot of mobility in the head when she's got all these pipes and things around her. Arms can come up to about there, which, I mean, yes, if she didn't have the shoulder pad, it would go up further, but that's not that much. And I'm surprised, I guess, because these cutouts here, her arm can come up pretty much to shoot at like a more or less a 45. That's not quite 45, but with the elbow, you can point at them, and it goes back surprisingly far. So these cutouts make a difference, and they probably are in the actual armor, but I was expecting her to lose a lot of arm mobility with these plates. The elbows are double jointed, so she can technically go that far up and pretty far out with it. Waist, she's got, I think this is more like the AEW figures. The top torso is on there, and then it's on a ball joint, so she's got a lot of, well, you can spin her upper torso all the way around, and I'm guessing maybe because of that. Let me see here. Yeah, her lower torso doesn't spin. On the legs, more or less kick somebody in the chest, straight kick. Check both legs, because here in a second, one of these, up at the hip at least, legs are the same. Now, it was a little weird, and I can't quite see why, but this leg has a lot more flexibility in it to bend. About yay far. The other leg does not have that. It goes to about a 45, and I don't understand why, and I don't want to force it if it's like stuck to try to fix it, because then I'm just going to snap a leg off and be out an action figure. But it's a little weird that this one seems to be double jointed, which would lead me to think that, I don't know, guys, because to me the leg does not look that different in the, because you see the knee bit right there. I'm wondering if, I don't know, maybe it's just something to do with that knee pad right there. So I'm just going to leave it. If you guys know, let me know. If you're like, nah, you just got to work with it and force it, I'll do it. But I don't want to break it. The ankle goes down about yay far, up about that far, and has the toe joint, which is pretty common in like WWE Elites, that I think is cool. Accessory, she's got her chain sword, which the weapons, they're not bad, but I think, like I said, the Fleur de Lis should be gold, and there's a few more details that could be picked out. But basically, it's a big chainsaw that acts as a sword, and her bolt gun, which it basically shoots, I think it's 40 millimeter, like bullets that are the size of 40 millimeter grenades that explode on impact or shortly after impact. I think it depends. Again, this one, I think traditionally this little shell bit's black. The Fleur de Lis is gold. Minor gripe, I do like the cutout on the magazine. I don't think all of them are that way, but it's cool. But you can take it, and I did not try this off camera, so we'll sort of learn together here which hand holds which better. If we can get it in, as it were. Let's see here. I don't like. Let's try the other hand then, because I don't want to break off fingers if I can help it. Well, that does not look like it wants to go in super easy, but let's, for sake of argument, let's do the bolter, and I might have to grab the box. See if there's a specific hand that is meant to hold a certain one. That's not really, but this looks more like the, okay, so do that. Okay, yeah, that is definitely the trigger hand, because you can see the one thumb's out a bit more to do the trigger, so she can, I don't know if it's, she probably, does she have enough flexibility to do the cross? Yeah, more or less like the low ready. I'll move here in a second. The hands aren't quite open enough, but you can kind of do like a across the chest low ready with it. You would need, this hand would need to be a bit more open to actually like grab it around here and hold it like at a low ready. And even then, because now the arms more or less get there. It's got enough post, but like that's kind of a low ready. It's not perfect because this hand is super closed for some reason. Like it's got a hole, but it does not leave a whole lot of room to hold something. And I know it sounds nitpicky, but it is probably very difficult to get. It's got the weapons in different hands. I'll show you. Let me try to close up this bottom bit here, because this is basically it. So it says the bolter should go in this hand, and then the sword should go in this one. So let's give it a shot. That's how it's depicted on the box. Sorry if that was loud, everybody. Alright, let's try doing this again. Miss the trigger thumb. Yeah, I mean it I don't know, because I don't have the Space Marine, but I bet you the Space Marine comes with it, and I wonder if they didn't. Well, no, because a Space Marine wouldn't have the Fleur de Lis, but yeah, that handle, for posing it'll work, but you can see it's a bit wobbly. And then I could open up those lower fingers, so you probably could do it. Yeah, sorta. It works. What I would do is, if you get this figure, is use your thumb to sort of open up the fingers, because they are a softer plastic, to help you get that done. But yeah, she can be a badass and shoot bolter gun with one hand and have her chain sword. But what I really also would like to talk about, and I thought this was ingenious, and it's probably not like earth shattering, but I like the attention to decisions. Because, like, they use different types of plastics overlaid on the figure to get certain effects. Because, like, that looks pretty solid, but when you look at it, it's actually rubber. So, you get the full range of motion on the wrists. There's kind of a hard plastic here, but, you know, the cape there is rubbery. The corset bit down here is rubbery to sort of, I guess, help a little bit with the movement. And just where they made decisions, knee pads don't have hard plastic so you won't gig yourself, but also so you can go down on a knee and it's not going to be weird. Just little aesthetic decisions like that make a difference. The whole belt's a softer rubber, and I was impressed with that on the gauntlets to not inhibit the rotation of the wrist. Sorry guys, I'm terrible at tablecloths, and just now I realized the mouse has been on screen this whole time. I apologize. But yeah, Todd McFarlane really holding up on the quality of the figure. So anything that I don't even know if it's a complaint, because I don't think you necessarily need it, but it's a little weird this leg won't go bend up as far, but at the end of the day, is that a deal killer? I mean, it might be depending on how you're posing it, but I don't know how often you're posing something for display that you need that. Because, I mean, like a hypothetical here. I mean, she can still do, and you might have to have like probably a stand or something to do it anyway. You can get her down to like a crouching stance. So I don't know that other leg, other than that just being weird, is an issue. You could nitpick some of the details that should be painted aren't, but like I said, I'm not well versed enough to know for sure. Because like the fleur-de-lis on the chest being gold might be a rank thing, but just you look all over this figure, guys, and I'm not doing it justice because I don't think the camera's picking it up, and my lighting is not necessarily the best, but the detail all over the place, little fleur-de-lis here, texture, and just all sorts of little bits and bobs that just shoot the detail and attention to it through the roof. Like, I stand by it. If you see Todd McFarlane on a figure and you're not quite sure, you can trust the brand as far as quality and detail, because it's just, that's what they're known for, man, and taking that extra step. I mean, I guess, yes, depending on this being 40K, this is probably targeted more to adult collectors, and I don't know why I'm making her do a little shimmy, but, you know, whatever. Then, you know, like a 9-year-old getting a toy. There's no reason a little kid couldn't have this toy, apart from, I would think some 40K subject material wouldn't be good for younger audiences, but so maybe that's part of it. But just a beautiful figure, guys. If you can catch it on sale at or on clearance at a Target, I think it was like $14. I think I got a friend of mine this one for, even off of the internet, for $25, and for a collector's figure, $25 isn't that bad. There's another version, and like I said, I don't know the series runs of this thing, so I don't know if it's a chase variant or if it's in another set, but there's one where this armor's red. So there's a lot of stuff out there that you can kind of get for cheaper for if you're a 40K fan and you're looking into action figures. This line's pretty good. I know they're coming out with some other ones that are really expensive, and unfortunately that's just kind of a G-dub thing, but you can still collect at lower price brackets. You just gotta look around. Anyway, guys, are y'all into 40K out there? If you are, who's your favorite armies or factions? And thank you for spending time with me today, and I will catch you next week. Peace.